way below the 17,900 mark as well, and now we've drifted a bit more lower, a tad bit off the day's highest point. Talking about Nifty Bank, that's the one that's underperforming the benchmark indices as we speak. If you look at the Nifty Bank, it's trading lower by over 270 points, and on the losing end, if you look at the top names coming in on the losing front, you have Axis Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank among the top three Nifty losers. Along with that, you have Divi's Laboratories. You also have Reliance Industries that is actually declining in trade today. 1.2% downtick coming in for Reliance Industry, and that's one of the reasons why you're seeing that downtick on the Nifty as well. You have Asian Paints, BPCL as well in the Nifty losers list. Talking about the gainers on the Nifty this morning, you have HCL Tech ahead of its numbers. It is powering ahead. 1.4% uptick coming in for HCL Tech as we speak. You have L&T, JSW Steel, Grasim are the other counters that are holding on to good gains in today's trading session. Talking about the sectoral indices, you have the power sector that's holding on to some sort of green. You also have IT index that's holding on to some positive signs as well. Remember that you will have Infosys as well as HCL Tech that will be reporting their Q3 numbers later today. So a big day coming in for the IT sector. Talking about the other sectoral indices, you have pharma as well as oil and gas that are under pressure in today's trading session. Add to that list even FMCG index that is reeling under pressure in today's trading session. But let's talk about one of the top losers in yesterday's trading session, and that was Bharti Airtel. You remember the Bharti Airtel for the last two consecutive sessions saw a huge downtick. Today as well, Bharti Airtel is under pressure. 0.5% downtick coming in for Bharti Airtel in today's trading session. Remember that you had a brokerage downgrade as well that came in on that particular counter. So you have Bharti Airtel to watch out for. And isn't that the topic that we're going to discuss in depth as well, Vinny, today?
Absolutely, and talking about the telecom space, just a lot of brokerages notes have come in. Other than that, the 5G rollout pain, tariff hikes, that another tariff hike, is that a possibility on the cards for telecom space? Whether, we're expecting a 5G capex overshoot as well, third-party private players. What is going to be happening there? Because the first big tariff hike actually came out in 2019 as well, and it was around a 30 to 35% hike there, 20 to 25% hike also what we saw coming in December 2021. But let's go across to Somit, who's here to tell us more on what is happening in the telecom space. Also, there was a brokerage note coming in from JP Morgan. What is that reading? Let's go there.
Well, according to JP Morgan, 2023 should be defined by the competitive 5G rollouts across the telecom companies. They're also expecting a battle between the telecom companies when it comes to premium subscribers, and they're also expecting a delay in price hike. Now, they're expecting competitive 5G rollouts to gain momentum in 2023, and there could be negative surprises when it comes to capital expenditure and subsidies that could be given by telecom companies to drive 5G adoption. Now, they are saying that Reliance Jio's focus will shift from lower level subscribers to premium subscribers, and this should also lead to more competitive pricing on the top end side also. Now, the brokerage also is expecting that there could be some hesitance from the telecom companies in taking tariff hikes given the lack of adequate consumer appetite at this moment, and this could be further delayed because of the upcoming election season that we are expecting in 2024. Now, they're also saying that higher than expected capital expenditure, delayed price hike, and a lack of 5G monetization could also delay the ongoing improvement that we have been seeing in industries' return on invested capital. And on the back of these factors, they have downgraded their rating on Bharti Airtel to underperform from an outperform rating, and have also cut the target price to 710 from 860. When it comes to Vodafone Idea, they have maintained their underweight rating with a target price of 3 rupees, and when it comes to Industars, they have maintained their neutral rating with a target price of 190. Moreover, on Industar, they are concerned about the receivable risk from Idea because of lower receivables. Their dividend output or dividend payout is also at a risk, according to JP Morgan.
All right, so that's the view coming in on the telecom space. Thank you so much, Somit, for putting into context what exactly is happening in the telecom space and what exactly JP Morgan had to say in that note where they've gone ahead and they have downgraded Bharti Airtel. Let me bring on board our guests for today. We have Kunal Bothra as well as Mr. A.K. Prabhakar joining us on the show to talk more on the telecom space and where they see the road ahead for Bharti Airtel as well as Vodafone Idea. Very good morning to you, Kunal, as well as Mr. Prabhakar. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And Mr. Prabhakar, let me come first to you. You have JP Morgan that's highlighted some sort of risk coming in for Airtel as well as Vodafone Idea. They have given an underweight stance for both of these counters. Where do you see the telecom sector headed from your end? Are you in agreement with the risks that JP Morgan has flagged off when it comes to Bharti Airtel in particular?
Yeah, good morning. No, I think there is always risk in telecom. No, it is a two-player play today. You have Jio and Airtel being the largest holders of customers. So Jio is having 37% and Bharti Airtel at 32%. So I don't think Vodafone stands any chance. It is 22%, and no rest is left to the government agencies. So no, I think there is risk, but we need to understand when it is a duopoly, now then the pricing power might come. Maybe it can be delayed by 2 3 months or 6 months, but I think the pricing power will come because they are doing capex, and even Reliance has burned cash. And if they have to come with a IPO, or if they have to demerge, they will also partially hike their rates. So I think ARPU is likely to go higher, maybe in the middle of this year or in the end of this year. But I don't think there is a major risk. But the market rumors are that there will be a third player, strong player. So no, I don't see that happening in near term. So we like Bharti Airtel, we like Reliance Jio, and now Reliance as a player. So I think it is one of the top pick. And if it corrects, which has happened in the last few days, so if it corrects, it becomes a even more better buy. And last year, Bharti Airtel was one of the top performer in Nifty also.
Right. Kunal, I'm going to come to you. Will Bharti Airtel be the only pick, or what else are you looking at then in the telecom space?
Good morning, all of you. So my belief is that Bharti Airtel is one of the stronger names as compared to even Reliance Industries or of course Vodafone Idea has been one of the stock which has been a clear underperformer. But then I think Bharti Airtel has been one of the strongest name. But what's actually happened is in the last 2 days, on the back of the news flow and the reaction from the stock price breaking below the major support point of 790 approximately initially, and now the stock which is on the verge of breaking below the 200 moving average. So there's a sudden weakness which has come back into Bharti Airtel, and that sudden weakness may not bode very well for the stock over the near term. So my belief is that in such kind of stocks where they are prone to news flows, they are prone to price corrections, it's always better to try and wait out for an opportunity when the stock stabilizes and the selling stops. I think that's a point where you can look to buy or maybe average Bharti Airtel. As of now, my belief is that possibly that level can come maybe closer to 700, 725 mark for Bharti Airtel. So I would not be in a hurry to jump into the stock just because it's corrected on the back of the news flow. Would wait out for further correction, possibly below the 725 mark is where I would look to buy.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Bharti Airtel from Kunal and overall on the telecom space from both our experts. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere because we'll be back with your stock-related queries after this break.
And almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing, and you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's...
Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now Sell on ET Now. And why we actually slipped into that break, you saw the markets slip in further. You have Nifty that slipped below the 17,800 mark on an intraday basis. Along with that, you have Reliance Industries. Take a look at what is happening to Reliance Industries, because Reliance Industries is at a 2-month low, and that's one of the biggest drag coming in on the benchmark indices. Right now, no doubt, Nifty has clawed back from that lower levels, but yes, 17,800 was breached on an intraday basis. But let's bring on board our experts for today, Kunal Bothra as well as Mr. A.K. Prabhakar, to talk about the stocks queries that you all have asked us, and also to ask about what should retail investors do given the fact that the markets have been extremely volatile. And Mr. Prabhakar, markets have been volatile right from the beginning of this month, the beginning of this year. And in such a scenario, what should retail investors do in order to make sure that their wealth is protected?
See, we have seen 7 years of return in equity markets. So I don't think we are going to outperform in this year. So we need to be more stock specific and sector specific. There are few sectors which have not performed in the last few years. So their valuations are very attractive. So we need to move on to those stocks. Life insurance, the private life insurance is one segment where we due to COVID and the claims, we never saw a rally. So that is one pocket where things can happen. Power sector is one thing where the demand has come back. So we can look at power sector. So we need to be very proactive there. And budget is also an important event. So everybody is talking about tinkering in capital gains. So if that happens, it will be negative. If that doesn't happen, then the market will rally. Normally, month of January in the last 20 years have given negative return. So that is what is happening. So I will not read too much into this negativity in January. But post budget, if the market starts to rally, I think there will be sectoral gains and stock specific gains in a very big way.
Okay. That's the advice coming in from Mr. Prabhakar. But let's get started with all your stock related queries. And Kunal, I'm going to start the first query coming in for you, and this one is on PEL, that's Piramal Enterprises. Bharat wants a technical view on this one. Is it the right time to actually start entering this one?
Yeah, I think it could be a good time to start entering into the stock. The selling is getting a bit more ebbed off for Piramal Enterprise. The stock is trying to establish strong support zone around the 800 mark. So I think just on the basis of possibility of the stock holding on to this support is pretty much high. Even though I think it's always better to wait out for a confirmation, and that confirmation could happen once Piramal Enterprise breaks past about the 920 mark. This was also the previous level which I flagged off a couple of weeks back when I was giving a bullish call for Piramal Enterprise, that above this 920 levels is where a bigger breakout could happen for the stock price. So you can start nibbling at current levels, but the confidence can improve and you can maybe add on to your quantity only about the 920 mark if the stock breaks out of that level.
All right, this next one is coming in from Sri Kutan, and he wants to know about AB Capital or M&M Financial. Which one would be a better bet for a one-year time frame, and also which one is attractive at current levels, Kunal?
So I would prefer AB Capital as a better play. Yes, of course, M&M Finance is also one of the stock which has done pretty well for itself. But purely in terms of the structure of the charts, the recent up move for AB Capital, the consolidation the stock has gone the last 3 to 4 weeks, and the fact that the stock is down 10% from its previous major swing highs of 162. So the risk reward to enter the trade at current levels is also very attractive. So if you are asking for a choice between these two names, I would prefer AB Capital.
Okay. Mr. Prabhakar, this next query we have is coming in on Bajaj Finserv. Mr. Harish, who is a senior citizen from Chennai, has bought Bajaj Finserv at 1,645 rupees per share. Is it the right time to average this one or wait for a furthermore dip in this stock?
See, Bajaj Finserv is a holding company. So whenever Bajaj Finance correct, that impact will be there. But let us wait for the result season to pan out. Let us see how Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv results are there. Then we can take a call. I don't think to average we need to be in a hurry. High PE stocks or high price to book stocks, no, they have corrected. So in that bracket, even Bajaj Finserv has corrected. But I don't think it is any panic. In a long term, it is a value stock. But let us wait for the result and then we will take a call. At this point of time, let us not average.
Okay, this one is coming from Vaibhav. This one is for you, Kunal. He wants your detailed view on Asian Paints. He's saying that he has 50 shares purchased at 2,950 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should add some more or look to wait. And also he wants to know a future target for the next 6 months.
See, ideally, I would have said to wait out for Asian Paints because the stock has been falling, and more importantly, the correlation with respect to the fall in crude oil prices broadly over the last 3 to 4 months, that's also not playing out for Asian Paints quite well. But then, on the recent charts, most of the indicators are getting closer to the oversold territory for Asian Paints. So on the daily time frame charts, which means that the correction which started off from 3,500 plus levels for Asian Paints, currently the stock is at 2,900. The 600-point correction is a good enough zone where you can look to start nibbling in, or just about be on guard to start nibbling into the stock price because of the fact that the stock may enter into oversold territories. And then spread out your buying at a 5% downtick. So say for example at 2,900, if you start buying Asian Paints, then the next buying which you should purchase, or next purchase we should do, should be at a 5% lower levels. But yes, a buy and dip strategy from current levels could actually turn out to be a good strategy or a play for Asian Paints.
Mr. Prabhakar, this next query we have is coming in on Tata Communications. Akshay from Dubai has said that he exited Pidilite and has bought Tata Communications at 1,380 rupees per share. He's got 75 shares of this. What is your view on this one for the next 3 to 5 years, and should they look to add more Tata Communications if there is any dip coming in?
Opportunity to buy.
That query is on Tata Communications. Akshay
No, we like Tata Communication. For a long-term investor, it is a good buy. So no, if there is a 10-15% correction, he can buy more.
All right, this one is coming from Soumitra Joshi, and he wants your inputs on Info Edge, whether it's a buy, hold, or a sell. If it's a buy or a hold, he wants to know your projections, basically the growth numbers or the earnings growth numbers that you're penciling in for Info Edge, because I believe that Soumitra is already holding Info Edge in his portfolio, Mr. Prabhakar.
See, the last 2 years due to COVID, the business has not been growing, but we need to understand they are more of a PE investor also. So their portfolio, once the market recovers, that portion also will recover. But we are positive on the job markets in India. So I expect the company to grow at 12 to 15% in the next 5 years. Maybe 1 or 2 years, there can be a lag, but it will catch up. So we are very positive on Naukri at this point of time.
Okay, this next query we have is coming in from Anubhav from Bangalore. Kunal, this one is for you and your view on Granules. Currently holding 50 shares at 529. Should they wait? What is your view on this? Also, we have one more query coming in on Granules, and this one is from Beni, who is a senior citizen from Hyderabad. They are also holding Granules at rupees 345. So what is your technical view on this? Should they look to average?
So the first price you said was 529.
Yes, 529 for the first viewer was 529 Granules shares.
Okay, because as far as I can see on the charts, the all-time high was around 400, 425 odd for Granules. But nevertheless, I think on both of the queries, and looking at it from a medium-term play, I think at current levels of 320, Granules seems to be coming back into a demand zone for itself. The stock has stopped falling as such in terms of the intensity of sell-off in the last 3-4 months. Currently, it's just trying to get into a sideways consolidation. 310, 315 has been a good support for Granules over the last 1 or 2 weeks. So that could probably indicate that even in the critical parts of market volatility where we are facing right now, the stock is not going into a corrective mode, and it's going to a time-wise correction, which means the worst could probably be over for the stock price in terms of selling. I would suggest to hold on for both of the viewers.
All right, the next query that I have is coming in from Samir. He's writing to us from West Bengal, and he's holding JBM Auto, about 30 shares at a price of 490 rupees per share, and Samvardhana Motherson at a price of around 76.7. He has around 250 shares of that particular counter. Mr. Prabhakar, he wants to know, does it make sense to stay put with JBM Auto and Samvardhana Motherson for the longer term, or switch to some other names in the Auto and Auto Ank pack?
JBM we don't track, and Motherson, they are in big geographies, too many geographies, and that is very difficult for us. So both of this we don't track. In auto ancillary, we like Mahindra CIE, where there are a lot of corporate action taking, and very soon it will become CIE Automotive, which is a MNC company. So I think Mahindra CIE and Sundaram Fasteners are two stock which we like in that space.
Kunal, this next query is on Natco Pharma, and Guru wants to know, they have Natco Pharma at 620.5, I believe that's the price that they've given. Suggest whether they should exit or average at what price?
Well, I would not suggest to average. Now, even though the stock has been going into a consistent price correction, the last time the stock was trading above the 200 DMA was in September 2021. And from there, the stock has just been consistently and continuously falling. From 950 levels when the stock had broken this 200 DMA, it's now almost at 550 odd mark for itself. But what's actually happened is that the stock is now getting into a time-wise correction. In these kind of stocks, it is always better and preferable that when you're looking to average, let the stock give you a confirmation of a breakout of 200 moving average. Now, just because of the less pace of correction, I believe the possibility that in the next 3 to 6 months max, the stock can try and go into a dash above the 200 moving average. And if it sustains, that could be a point where you may look to buy further or average. As of now, hold is what I would recommend.
All right, on that note, then we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. But when we come back, we will come back with all of your queries, so don't go anywhere.
It's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's keep it going with your stock-related queries. And Mr. Prabhakar, coming to you with this next query. This one is on Adani Enterprises. Sudha was a long-term investor, has bought Adani Enterprises at around 3,400 rupees, and they have 75 shares. Now, since we've seen a correction coming in, what should they be doing with it? Should they reduce their exposure? Should they wait? Average? What is the view here?
No, we don't have a coverage on the stock, so I won't be able to comment on this.
Kunal, do you have a view coming in on Adani Enterprises then?
Well, I would suggest to hold on. If possible, you can look to maybe add a bit, more quantity at 3,500, 550 mark. I think that's what the low the stock tested 2 days back. I think yesterday or day before. So I think it's a good zone where the stock seems to be coming into a strong support point. But also remember, I think stocks like Adani Enterprise and such other names, they are extremely high beta stock. And if the market gets into any further leg of correction, these stocks can have a tendency to fall a lot more than the overall market conditions. So you have to be cognizant of this kind of a fact that you are venturing into a high beta pocket. But in terms of levels, I think if you're looking to buy very recently, then I think 3,550 could be a good entry point for you to average.
All right, the next one is coming in from, I missed his name actually, Dhananjay. He wants to know about Varun Beverages. He wants to know what's the right level to enter for the next 1 year, Kunal.
Well, I would suggest to wait out for a significant amount of time. My belief, and I've been, I think, saying over the last 1 or 2 months that the stock is at an overpriced level. The indicators are highly overbought on the weekly as well as on the monthly charts, and the stock is bound to get into a corrective phase. Now the correction has started off for Varun Beverages. In fact, in the last 2 days, the stock has shed more than 10%. So, which means that the correction could intensify going further. I would believe that from the top, which was around the 1430 odd mark for Varun Beverages, the stock can correct somewhere around 20% at least. So if you're looking to buy the stock, then I believe sub the 1,000 level is a much better level to buy the stock.
Mr. Prabhakar, this next query we have is coming in from Rajesh. This one is on Tata Alexis. They bought Tata Alexis at an average price of around 7,490. What should one be doing with it given the correction that we're seeing coming in it? What is the reason behind this correction, and fundamentally, do you think the stock is fine?
No, I think, the stock, the valuation was very expensive. It went to almost 10,000 and then it is corrected. So, no, but the business model is very good. They are growing better than the peers. So, I think Tata Elxsi for a long-term investor is a hold. But we need to understand, whenever stock overshoots, then the time correction is also there. So, it can continue for 1 more year. But if you are looking at 3 to 5 years, this will be one of the best performer in IT pack.
This one is coming from Shobna, and she wants to know what's the outlook on rate gain, Mr. Prabhakar. Also, she wants to know, does it make sense to accumulate the stock at current market price?
So rate gain, again, we don't track the stock, so I won't be able to comment.
Any view on rate gain? I know that it's a recently listed counter, fairly recently listed counter. So what's your view on this?
Yeah, in fact, in the morning, I had given a buy call on rate gain. My expectation was that the stock should do pretty well, and if the overall market conditions improve, then the stock can provide some healthy returns over the near term. I would still be bullish on the stock. In fact, at current levels of 340, I would look out for targets of 355, 360. So it's more of a momentum play. Now, as of now, I would believe that the momentum would probably take the stock hard at 355, 60 levels. But then it depends on the time frame. If you're looking to extend your time frame to a couple of months or maybe more than that, then I believe the rewards for rate gain over that kind of a time frame could also be higher. So I would suggest a buy or a hold.
Mr. Prabhakar, this next query we have, this one is on Bajaj consumers, and we have this from coming in from Padma Sivaro from Bangalore. They have Bajaj consumers, they are holding it for a long period of time. They continue to hold it. They want to hold it for a long period of time. Do you think it's the right decision?
No. This, if you take Bajaj consumer in the last 5 years, their sales growth has been 2%. So I don't invest in companies where sales growth is very weak or which is less than 10%. It doesn't make sense. No, their main business is hair oil, and and with rural stress there in place, I don't think Bajaj consumer is the right pick. So if we need to have something in FMCG, I think ITC, post budget would be a better option. If there is no tax increase in cigarettes, I think ITC would outperform in the FMCG pack. Otherwise, you can look at Dabar or Marico, where they are growing better than Bajaj consumer.
All right, this next one is coming in from Aman Soni, and he wants to know about Titan, mid to long term view on Titan. Also, he wants to know if it's a good time to start buying it in an SIP manner. What's your take on this one, Mr. Prabhakar? Do you think Titan good bet to do an SIP on for the medium to long term?
Yeah, no, Titan is a good SIP stock. Here they are growing above 15%. So that means in every 5 years their sales will double. So no, it was a bad business update which they gave. So due to that it can correct, but for a SIP investor it doesn't matter. You will get odd pricing, so it will even out. So I think Titan is the best SIP stock.
Kunal, this next query we have, and this one is coming in on ICICI Prudential's Jan futures for 56. Should they hold or book profits is the query. The viewer has not mentioned the name.
No, so for Jan series, you can look to hold. I would suggest, see, because of the market conditions, it's always better that you, if you're sitting in the money, if bought at lower levels, then you can probably buy a hedge in terms of a put option, and that could probably protect your profits for ICICI Pru in case if the market gets into any kind of a correction. But then I also believe that ICICI Pru is on the verge of a multi-month, multi-week breakout. So if you can convert this trade into more of a positional trade, then potentially the upside could be much higher for the stock in case if the breakout happens in the manner in which we are anticipating. But as I said, that the only catch towards this kind of a breakout and is the overall market conditions, which are not as healthy as we would probably have expected. So it's better to hedge your position, and I think in that regard, since you're sitting in profits, it's better that you hedge with a 450 odd strike of put option.
All right, this one's come from Shashank Jain, and Kunal, he has NDTV, he's saying, and he is purchased at a level of 400 rupees per share. He wants to know what should he do, hold or sell?
I think you should look to exit the stock.
Mr. Prabhakar, this next query is coming in, and this one is on IRFC. Chandrasekhar is holding IRFC at a price of 22 rupees per share, around 4,000 shares. What's your long-term view on this one?
I think this company is doing very good, and their NPAs are one of the lowest, so it is better to hold on to the stock.
Okay, this next one is coming from Venkata Ramana Kunal, and this one is for you. He's writing to us from Hyderabad. He wants to know, can I do a fresh allocation in Birlasoft or Intellect Design at current market price?
See, I think Birlasoft and Intellect Design, both of them are good charts. They have done pretty well for themselves over when you compare it from the 2020 lows. And I think currently Birlasoft is something which I believe looks a tad bit better in terms of the chart setup. The risk reward is a lot more better over here. The stock is not as volatile as previously at the start of 2022 when the correction started off for the IT names. So I think in that regards, I would probably have a slight edge towards Birlasoft as compared to Intellect.
Okay. This next query, and Mr. Prabhakar, this one is coming in for you. This one is on Infosys. Advait has purchased 300 shares of Infosys at 1,500. Should they hold or average this one?
Infosys is the anytime buy. Even after TCS result, my analyst was saying Infi TCS will, whatever storm is going to come from Europe or US, these two will weather it out. So I think Infosys is a good buy. No, if there is a correction due to result or some statement, then that is when you have to average. At the current point of time, I don't see a need to average.
Okay, this next one is coming in from Abhishek Mehta, Kajaria Ceramics. He wants to know whether it's a good bet for the long-term portfolio. Also makes sense to buy right now, or at what price? What's your take on this one, Mr. Prabhakar?
We are positive on Kajaria Ceramic, and gas prices are coming down. So 1 or 2 quarters of bad results is possible because of the high gas prices and Europe not performing well. So I think these will even out. So I think for a long-term investor, Kajaria Ceramic and even Sira would be a good bet. And lower gas prices are something which will step in and which will benefit them in next 2 quarters.
Kunal, this next query is on JK Tires. We have Venugopal Reddy from Hyderabad who wants to know whether they have actually 50 shares of JK Tire at 208 rupees. So is it a good time to average this one?
Not really. I think if you've bought at high levels, in fact, you've bought at much higher levels for the stock price, you need to have a trailing stop loss over here. And I would believe that possibly the stock breaks, say, below the 175, 77 mark. That could be a point where you should look to exit the trade.
Okay, this has come from Matthew Philip. Kunal, ICICI Bank purchased at an average cost of around 895 rupees per share. What's your take on this one?
Well, I've been bearish on the stock, I think over the last 1 month. And my particular levels which I've advocated is closer to 850 to 840 odd mark for ICICI Bank. Now it's just about, I think, 1 or 2 percentage points away from those major support points. So maybe you can start looking out to buy in case if the stock hits the lower end of the target, which is closer to 840 mark.
Mr. Prabhakar, this next query is coming in on Marksans Pharma. The viewer wants to know whether it's a good buy for a long term.
We don't track Marksans Pharma.
Kunal, any view on Marksans Pharma?
I think it's a good stock. At least over the last 3 or 4 weeks, the stock has gained a lot of momentum. From 40 odd rupees, the stock has moved up to 67 and a half, at current zone. So, which means that the momentum, the pace of rally has been quite strong for Marksans Pharma. I think in that aspect, I would suggest to hold on.
Okay, Jay Krishnan wants to know about Coforge purchase at 4,075 rupees per share for the medium term. Kunal, what levels should he look to average this counter, or what is your view? What should he do with the stock right now?
See, over the last 2 months, Coforge has been going into a sideways range. Now, there have been intraday bouts of price uptick for the stock price, but when you look at it broadly over the last 2 months, it's been stuck into a range, and the lower end of the range for Coforge is around 3,700 and the higher end of the range is 4,100, which means it's almost like a 10% range for Coforge. It's always better that you buy the stock in a consolidation when it comes closer to the lower end of the range. So 3,700 approximately is the zone which you should look out for to buy or average.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, quick query on Metropolis. The viewer wants to know, they have 32 shares of Metropolis at 1,450 rupees. What can be done with this?
They Metropolis or other stocks also connected with this. Now they are in bad time, but I don't think one has to worry. Now time wise, it can move sideways, but I think over a period of time, if it is 2-3 years, I think this industry will pick up. Unorganized to organized will be the move. So I'm positive for a long-term investment, but if it is less than 1 year, then I think one should avoid this stock.
All right, and that was indeed the last query for the day. We have a lot of important management conversations coming in from the Auto Expo. So thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Mr. Prabhakar for joining us on the show and joining us and giving us your view. And moving on and getting you the exclusive voice, Tata Motors Pavilion was definitely a busy one at the Auto Expo, with the car makers unveiling plenty of EVs and concept cars, along with a few CNG offerings as well. Let's go across to Srishti, who's caught up with Girish Wagh of Tata Motors.
So I think to tell you very briefly and set the context, I think the logistics sector is one of the largest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions in the world. It's almost supposed to be around 18%. And being part of that, I think we have decided to help this decarbonization and play a lead role in that. And at Tata Motors Commercial Vehicles, we have decided that by 2045, we are going to be net zero greenhouse gas emissions. Now towards this, the journey is going to be progressive. From the conventional fuels today, we will move into natural gas, then we'll get into blended fuels, then battery electric, and of course also hydrogen as a fuel which is coming up. And it appears that as a country, we are going to balance our portfolio of fuels from energy security point of view. Now all this is being done towards emission reduction, import reduction for the country as well as energy security. Now if this is what is going to happen and the basket is going to be of multiple fuels, then as a company we are supposed to be ready with multiple powertrain options. And that's why what you see in the Auto Expo, we have exhibited 14 concepts and products which include natural gas, they include battery electric vehicles, they include hydrogen fuel cell electric as well as hydrogen internal combustion engine. In addition to this, we've also showcased 2 new platforms and architectures which are fuel agnostic. So they can work on conventional fuel engines right up to hydrogen internal combustion engines. So I think that's the portfolio that we've shown here, which clearly demonstrates our commitment to move towards 2045 net zero on greenhouse gas emissions.
Well, Mr. Girish, 2045 net zero emission, that's a big target that Tata Motors has set. If I may ask you, looking in 2045, what kind of a portfolio you will be having? Will EVs be the major part of it? How do you see that? Because hydrogen is the next driver of energy is what we believe. So how much EV and hydrogen can contribute, and even the other fuel cells technologies you are working on?
So see, it appears that as we move on from 2023, there will be higher penetration of natural gas first from conventional fuels, and then we will gradually start moving towards battery electric and hydrogen. Now if you see the usage profile of commercial vehicles, shorter haul and lower payload, that is the smaller vehicles, more of intra-city or city to satellite city, I think these applications will be used through battery electric, right? And as you move up long haul, heavy duty, I think battery electric probably may not be able to meet that requirement, and therefore hydrogen is coming up as a very attractive proposition. Within hydrogen there are 2 technologies. One is the fuel cell electric and the second is hydrogen internal combustion engine. And as we stand here today, it appears that hydrogen internal combustion engine probably may see the light of day in terms of commercialization faster than hydrogen fuel cell electric, because of internal combustion engine being more tolerant to lower purity of hydrogen, and also it helps to use the entire IP as well as infrastructure that has already been there for internal combustion engine.
Well, yes, I can see that.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.